So guys, hello and welcome to this tutorial. So we discussed everything about strings and all. Now we are going to see some fundamental built-in functions that we can use in strings. So suppose you have a string, say I'll write I have a lazy cat. So suppose I have this string and I have to perform some functions on this string or some operations on this string. So I have actually commented out these operations. So first of all, this operation is capitalized. So what does this operation do is it sees the first element or the first index element, you can zeroth index element actually. So the zeroth index is of I. So when we write s dot capitalize, it will simply capitalize I. So it will not do anything to the rest part of the string, like names actually. So suppose your name is Sam. So if you write s equals to Sam in small lowercase, then it will, when you write s dot capitalize, it will simply print out as Sam but with a capital S. That is, the first letter should be capital. So let us do it. Let us print out s dot capitalize, and the argument, no need of any argument, and when you run this code, it will capitalize I. So over here I was lowercase and it became uppercase when we printed it out. So this is one of the functions. Then index. So let us print out s dot index, and when you see index, it suggests us self, start, and end. So when you print out index, you have to specify index of what. So basically it returns the index. So if you have to get index of v, so you just write s dot index of v, and obviously v should be a string value, so you have to write it in double quotes, and when you run this, it will simply print out the index of v. If you try to print out index of I, that is the first element, it will print out 0, because 0 is the index of I. So this is one of the functions. Then the next function is replace. So suppose I have a string s, and suppose I have to replace some element, so what I'll do, I'll simply write s dot replace, and it suggests us old and new. So let us do one thing. First of all, we have to specify the old variable. So the old, not variable, actually element. So suppose I have to change this c. So for changing the c, I'll simply write c, and after that just give a comma and write the new variable. So suppose I have to change c by d. So what will happen, s dot replace, there are two arguments. First argument will be the older element, and next argument will be the value to which it should be changed. So we have to change c, that is the c, by d. So, and when you run this code, it will simply change it c by d. So it will print I have a lazy dad. I know it doesn't make any sense, but still. Okay, replace. Now swap case. So swap case means basically swaps. It's basically swaps cases. So if this all is lowercase now, so when I print out s dot swap case, it will simply change the lowercase elements to uppercase elements and uppercase elements to lowercase elements. So let us print it out. So I'll print out s dot swap case, and obviously it does not require any arguments to say. So it will simply print out the string with the uppercase. So I'll just do one thing. I'll change this to uppercase. So I'll write I have in uppercase, and when I run this code, see, everything is uppercase except this thing, because it was upper first, and basically it is swapping the cases. That's it. And center, for center, actually this center I'm going to change the string to, say, let's make it cat. So when I try to print out s dot center, what is asking is width and fill char. So first of all, we have to specify the width, and after that the fill character. So hold on, suppose you want the width to be, actually let us do one thing. The width of cat is 3, we know that, right? So let us do one thing. Let us make the width to be 4, and afterwards we have to specify the fill character. That is, we have to change this length of s to 4, but obviously if you change it, it will have to pad something, right? Because when we have to pad something, so suppose you have to pad at the rate, so now the length is 4. So basically to change the width, we'll have to gives the new width, and we'll have to specify what we have to pad, right? That is what we have to add to make the length to be 4. So suppose we have to specify at the rate, so I'll simply write at the rate and run this code. So basically it made the string length 4, and cat should be at the center actually. So hold on, if I write hash, it will simply change it to hash. So basically this is the fill character, whatever we want to fill in between the space, or whatever we want to pad. So suppose you change the length to 10 now. So see, now what happened, it changed the length to 10. Actually instead of 10, I'll write 9, so that we understand why is it at the center. So see, when I write 9, what happened, this length is 3, so it will have to pad 3 and 3 to the left and to the right, because center means cat should be at the center, that is, the value of the string should be at the center. So this came to the center, and the length is 9. So to make the length 9, we added these three hashtags to the left and to the right, so that the length becomes 9. But if you write 10 over here, now obviously cat cannot come exactly at the center, so it added 4 hashtags over here and 3 hashtags over here. So basically we are just taking it to the center. That's all that we have to do. And this is the fill character element, and this is the length of the new string, you can say. So these were these were some basic functions or operations that we can perform on strings. There are many such inbuilt operations. Hold on, I'll tell it to you all. So these are some basic, built-in string methods and functions that we can use. So then we actually know what is length. So basically it gives us the length of that string. Lower, actually we'll see all these, some important ones in the further tutorials. But we saw some of them which are really important. We know format as well. We can change the format. In the previous video we saw how to use format function. We saw split. Actually for split I'll make a new tutorial on it, so don't worry about it. And Swapcase we saw it now, and so on. We'll see all these afterwards, but basically these are some built-in methods that we don't have to import, right? So for example, if you want to use square root of some integer, then you have to import math, but these are built-in functions, so you don't have to import them at all. You can use them directly. So I think that's all for this tutorial. We'll see many functions in the next tutorials. So until then, stay tuned and keep learning. Thank you.